Hey guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Vienna Lay and I am your local real estate expert in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Today we are going to be talking about the importance of buyer representation, and of course this subject is towards my lovely buyers out there who may be first-time home buyers specifically, but of course this information is for everyone. And if you need a quick reminder on how important buyer representation is, well, you came to the right place because I'm here to talk about it. So buyer's representation, why is it so important? How do you get this? And what are the pros and cons to it? Those are the things we are going to be discussing today about buyer's representation. And if you're ready to get in on it, then stick around and let's get started. We are going to be talking about the general idea and of all those things. I am not going to be talking about the technicalities of the contract of the buyer's rep agreement, but I am going to be just talking about the in general rules regarding buyer representation in real estate. So with buyer representation, first of all, how do you get it? Buyer's representation is done through signing between a buyer and an agent on a buyer-tenant representation agreement. That's a very long name for the contract or agreement, essentially, between these two parties to make sure that the buyer is taken care of by this agent exclusively, so that the agent looks out for the buyer's best interest. So I'm going to be referring this contract as buyer's rep agreement, just to shorten it a little bit. It is a very long title, but basically it's a contract between these two parties to make sure that the buyer is protected with the agent, that the agent will look out for their buyer's best interest during the house buying process. Having this agreement is very important because it makes sure that the buyer is taken care of. Real estate is a very seller-focused, industry, for lack of a better word. Sellers were always regarded as, and I don't want to say this, it sounds really bad, but sellers are regarded as more important. I don't feel that way. Obviously, I was a buyer and I needed that representation. I feel like all buyers need representation. I think most agents need representation just as much. And that is because there is a saying in real estate called caveat emptor, and excuse my pronunciation of Latin. I don't speak Latin, but it basically means buyer beware. And like I mentioned before, that's why that saying exists. So getting buyer's representation is super, super important when a buyer starts the home buying process. Getting professional representation is extremely important to make sure that you have a professional on your side who is looking out for you, who's working for you, that you hired, to make sure that you are not being taken advantage of, that you know exactly what you're signing and all the papers that are involved in real estate transactions, that you have someone who you can ask 1,000,001 questions about because that's exactly why you hired them. Things like that. Having someone who is a professional in your pocket, aka your phone, basically, is extremely beneficial. And I feel like I don't have to totally spell that out. And going into a representation in a real estate transaction as a buyer is extremely beneficial to all home buyers. And I strongly believe that getting that representation is super, super, super important. I feel like some buyers may disagree and may not want to be committed to an agent. Some buyers may be like,
I don't want to sign a contract on anything until I find a home I like and stuff like that.
and with that, I kind of understand. I understand that because maybe you're just meeting this agent for the first time and you don't know if you'll work well with them, and you don't know if, you're ready to do the serious thing with home buying and all that stuff. Some agents may not, and this will depend on every single agent. Not every agent works the same, as I mentioned in other videos, but some agents may not even work with buyers unless the representation agreement is signed between the two of them to ensure that no one's wasting their time, that you buyers are serious. It's insurance for us agents as well, that when we're working with buyers, it's not like we're a living door opener for you. Like, that's where we're coming from. And some agents may not get a buyer's representation signed, and maybe something horrible happens during the home buying process, and like it could even relate to payment and other things that could have been protected if you both sign the buyer's representation agreement to make sure that you guys are legally linked. So that's why it is so important. For me personally, if you're going to ask me how I conduct my business, I kind of meet in the middle. So when I'm meeting a client for the first time, I want to prove my services, that I'm someone that can be trusted. And then when we are ready to put an offer in on a house, then I also attach the buyer's representation agreement to it. And whether or not that house closes or not, I got that agreement signed in case it did close, so that I'm guaranteed payment for my work. Buyer's representation agreement, what are the pros and cons? Let's just get the cons out of the way, because I feel like that is a quick thing. There are none. There is none. That is a bit, feel like could sound over dramatic to some of you, like,
What? There are no cons to getting a buyer's representation by getting professional representation by an agent when I'm buying a house?
Yeah, there is none, and let me tell you why. Well, with that, I'm going to segue into the pros of getting buyer's representation. The multiple pros of getting buyer's representation as a buyer is you have a professional who is there to answer all your questions about home buying, the process, and your specific scenarios. Someone who can answer all those questions for you. You have someone you can consult with in the home buying process. And when it comes to the technicalities of like putting in an offer, what you can negotiate, all of those things is all in the dispense of you having representation by a professional, like an agent like myself, That's what we're here for. That's what you hire us to do. And so getting that is extremely important. That is the biggest pro I can think of when getting representation by an agent when you are a home buyer. Now, another pro is, and this sounds very self-explanatory, but let me explain. The pro is you are getting representation from a professional who looks out for your best interest. Sounds easy, right? Well, going back to what I was saying about not getting it signed, yes, it is a commission thing and stuff for agents, but also for buyers out there. Some of you guys may not know this, but if you decide, no, I don't want to sign a buyer's rep agreement, technically, an agent is obligated to serve their fiduciary duties, aka like their services and looking out for best interests and stuff like that. All of that is technically given to the sellers. So if we're getting really technical here, if, say, for example, your agent and I put that in quotes, like you didn't sign a buyer's rep agreement with them. You guys are looking at houses and stuff. Let's say an agent like is showing you homes that are way out of your budget or in an area you don't like and all that stuff, and you get on them like,
hey, why are you showing me things I don't want?
They could easily say,
well, I don't work for you because you didn't sign a buyer's rep with me.
And technically they're not wrong. I mean, is that good business practice? Heck no, it is not good business practice. But it is technically something that an agent could do, and I seriously hope there are none out there that do something like that. But technically it's not incorrect. And so without getting that paper signed, then an agent can essentially do whatever the heck they want without looking for a buyer's best interest, because there's no reason to. There's nothing on paper that tells the agent that they need to look out for their buyer if that's not signed. So yes, getting that representation is extremely important. That agency relationship that you have with your agent when you're home buying with a buyer's agent, super important. That's one of the other reasons why. And also, you would think,
wow, that's a lot of amazing stuff that I can get with representation from an agent, and I could really use that help when I'm buying a house. You know, that all sounds amazing, but how much is it gonna cost me? I mean, that sounds like so much. It doesn't feel like this is gonna be cheap, right?
well, let me tell you, sellers pay agents. This I found out very quickly is not common knowledge. When it comes, that's probably another reason why it's a buyer beware atmosphere or situation in real estate, because sellers pay the agents. Buyers don't pay agents. Buyers pay for the house, get that paperwork done, get funding, all of that stuff, but they don't pay the agents, which includes you do not pay for your buyer's agent. You don't pay for a buyer's agent. Sellers pay for agents, both the seller and the buyer. So essentially, you're getting all of these amazing benefits of representation without having to pay for it, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like there are no cons financially, mentally, technically. Like I could not think of any cons to getting representation when you're a buyer. It really is a why not scenario. Why wouldn't you get buyer's representation? It's so clear to me that every buyer should, and it becomes a win-win-win situation for the buyers and the agents, because getting that all done paperwork wise, and then ensuring that you get commission out of it as an agent is great. And at the same time, the buyers get an agent, a professional in real estate at their disposal to help them through everything and without any extra costs. There you have it, you guys. That is buyer representation in a quick little nutshell to get you guys to understand the importance of buyer representation, to know just how important it is and why it's helpful to buyers, and just overall, just do it. Like, just buyers, just get representation. There is no what ifs, ands, or buts, and there are a lot of those in real estate, but this is one of those situations in real estate where I truly believe that there is none of that there is only one right answer, and that is get buyers representation. No excuses. So for those of you who are on your home buying journey, or just starting it or getting in on it but still hesitate to work with an agent, don't hesitate on it. I strongly recommend it, no matter where you are and in the home buying process or not. Just get the representation, and you will be in much better hands, and it will be way less of a headache. But yeah, so with that, I'm gonna leave this here and I'll see you guys in the next video. Go ahead and leave a like, thumbs up, subscribe for videos every week. At least I try to. And if there's something else you want me to discuss, let me know. Or if I'm missing anything, also let me know. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.